So hello everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing the newspaper of 1st October, that is today. So let's start with the discussion. We will be talking about certain important article from the today's paper, and then we will be moving forward with the practice question, etc. What article we will be discussing is that one is the ED's investigation in Muda scam. Here you can see on the front page there was this article, Karnataka CM booked by ED in probe linked to Mysore land allotment. Okay, so we will be talking about this particular article over here. We will not go into the political aspects or the personal statements which has been given. We will be talking about certain things which are related to it, like PMLA, etc. Okay, then we will be moving further with the Indian elephants lost their genetic vigor. So on the front page there was this another article which is there with respect to the Indian elephants, and there are certain concerns which we will be talking about. Okay, moving further we will be going to the psycho pod or suicide pod. We will be talking about this particular you can say suicide pod, because recently there was this one woman who sorry patch. So there was this one woman who died using this suicide pod. Okay, so considering that there were certain, you can say, ethical as well as the legal questions has arisen in the Switzerland. So accordingly we will be talking about these two things. Okay, now we will be discussing the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. Then we will be going forward with the fact of the day, and then know our constitution, wherein we will be talking about the part 12 today. Okay, so let's start with our discussions. This is the front page of the newspaper. We have seen this article, and here another article is there, that is terror has no place, India for early return to peace, says Modi to Netanyahu. So basically we will be giving a passing reference to this particular article as well. Okay, so let's start with the practice question. Which militant group operates predominantly along the Israel-Lebanon border? Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS or Al-Qaeda? Okay. Now, if you look at this particular questions over here, they are asking you that Israel-Lebanon border. Okay, so here you can see this is your Israel-Lebanon border. When we talk about this particular portion over here, that is basically your border they are talking about, and this part is Lebanon, this is Israel. So here in the southern part of Lebanon, you can say mostly you will be witnessing Hezbollah is quite active over there, and it has been in news recently because of the, you can say, death of their chief. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now we can see that option Bombay would be your right answer, that is B, Hezbollah. Okay, now we can move further. Before going ahead, I would like to make this announcement that at our different centers at Lucknow, Prayagraj, Jaipur, Karol Bagh and Indore, we have this GS foundation course for prelims as well as mains in offline mode, English medium. So admissions are about to start at different, or you can say these admissions are started, but the thing is when we are talking about the commencement of the course, that is there with respect to these dates. When we talk about Lucknow, 16th of October, Prayagraj 3rd of October, Jaipur 7th October, Karol Bagh 17th October. In Indore branch, batches has already started. Admissions are yet open. You can directly go to the center, you can enroll over there, or you can call on this number, that is 8010440440. Again 8010440440. You can call on this number for any kind of inquiry, or you can directly visit the center to get enrolled. Okay, now let's start with the discussion. We will be starting with the facts of the day. Yesterday we have talked about Lothal. Okay, and I told you that government is going for one particular project over there. Okay, and I told you that you will be telling me in the comment section. Then since there was this 100 years, when we talk about the Indus Valley civilizations, we have actually completed hundreds years of this excavation. Okay, so considering that there are chances that this particular portion will be important for your examination, so we will be discussing few sites in the upcoming days. Okay, we will be starting with the Harappa. Okay, here you can see Harappa in 1920s. The archaeologists such as Dayaram Sahani, M.S. Watts and Mortimer Wheeler excavated Harappa, the first site on the Ravi bank. Okay, now there are two important facts which are there. One is the first site, that was Harappa. Okay, who has done it? Most important name here is Dayaram Sahani. So please remember this particular name. Okay, and on the banks of which river? That is Ravi river. Okay, currently this particular site is there in Pakistan. Okay, then moving further, the site features a citadel mound to the west and larger town, lower town in the southeast. Okay, now here there is this picture which is given. So you will be finding that there is this citadel mound which is over here in the, you can say, on a raised platform it is there, and then there is a lower town over here. So you can say that there was some kind of hierarchy which was present in the society at that point of time as well. Then moving further, you will be seeing the citadel was fortified with a mud brick wall. Okay, so that means that they had the knowledge of brick masonry. Okay. Then moving further, massive towers are there, gateways was there, and there was a elevated platform. When we talk about this citadel, it is, you can say, constructed on a elevated platform. Now when we talk about the lower town, there are various workshops for making shell, agates and copper artifacts, houses, drains, bathing platforms and wells. Okay, so these are certain you can say features which were present in Harappa. Moving further, you will be seeing Harappa is often called as the city of the granaries, because there are nearly 12 granaries which were found in this particular area. Now what it suggests is that there was limited agriculture at that point of time. Okay, limited agriculture, or there might be, you can say, seasonal agriculture. Okay, because of which they required these granaries, okay, where they can store their grains. Okay, so for that they had these granaries, and there are 12 granaries which were found in Harappa. Then evidence of coffin burial in H pattern hints the possible invasion. There are, you can say, site or burial sites wherein they have found the you can say coffins, and there was this pattern in which the coffins were laid. Okay, so that was said that it was in the form of H. So it can be assumed that there was some kind of invasion which has happened at that point of time. People has died, you can say in a large number people has died at that point of time, and then they were buried in a particular pattern over there. Okay, so that is just a speculation. Okay, then moving further, Harappa is identified with the Haryupiya in the Rig Veda. So in Rig Veda there was this name which is mentioned over there, that is Haryupiya. So you can say that that was somehow it was derived name from the Haryupiya, and the present name is Harappa. Okay, so I hope that is clear. These are certain facts which are there with respect to Harappa, which you can keep in mind for your examinations. Okay, now moving further, we will be talking about the constitution. We were at the part 11, which we have seen relation between union and the states. Now today we will be seeing the part 12, that is finance, property and the contracts and suits. Okay, in this particular part, if we talk about, there are certain articles which are there. We will be focusing on the finance part over here today. Okay, so let's see. When we talk about the finance, property, contract and suits, that is there in part 12, there are important articles which are over here. Here you can see 266, that is talking about the consolidated fund of India and public accounts of India. Okay, and in this regard there are respective states, they can also go for the states funds. Okay, then moving further, article 267 is talking about the contingency fund. Okay, that fund is under the president. We will be talking about these funds. Then article 275 is there with respect to the grants from the union to certain states. Then article 280 is there with respect to the finance commission. Now these are the articles which are related to finance. Then you have this article 300A, persons not to be deprived of his property saved by the authority of law. Now this article is basically, this is your right to property, that is your legal or constitutional right. Okay, this is not a fundamental right, because we know that there was this fundamental right for right to property, and that was removed. Okay, and it was placed in the constitution under article 308. So we can say that it is a legal and a constitutional right, but not a fundamental right. Okay, so that is there. Today we will be focusing on these two articles, 266 and 267, wherein we will be talking about different funds. Okay, so here there are three funds which we will be talking about. One is consolidated fund of India, then second is contingency fund, and then the public account of India. Okay, now looking at the article, 266 clause 1 is talking about the consolidated fund of India, 267 clause 1 is talking about the contingency fund, and 266 clause 2 is talking about the public accounts of India. Okay, so these three important articles you should remember. Then coming to the sources, from where the money is coming to these funds. Okay, when we talk about the consolidated fund of India, whatever earning government has, okay, by the way of taxes, etc., it is coming to this consolidated fund. Okay, so taxes, direct and indirect, loans, loan repayments, all these things are basically, let's say you have taken a loan from, let's say, World Bank, or let's say from IMF, or let's say from any particular country. Okay, so that loan will come under this consolidated fund. Okay, you have given a loan to a particular state, okay, and after 10 years of the maturity, that loan has been repaid. Now that loan amount will be going to the consolidated fund of India. Okay, and when we talk about taxes, that is simple, direct and indirect taxes are coming into this particular fund. Okay, When we talk about contingency fund of India, that is under the president, and this is coming from this is a fixed corpus of, you can say, 500 crore, which is there maintained as an impressed fund. Okay, so when we talk about the emergencies, there is this when we talk about this particular fund, you require parliamentary approval for appropriating money out of consolidated fund of India. But in case if there is an emergency when parliament is not in session, in that case, how will you go for any kind of expenditure? Then you can take money from this particular contingency fund. Okay, then here you can see, when we talk about the public account of India, so here you will be getting savings accounts of the ministries, department, national small savings schemes, national investment funds, etc. Whatever you can say money which public is putting into some kind of scheme, let's say provident funds, etc., okay, or pension funds, etc. All these funds which are basically a liability for the government, okay, which government has to pay back, all these funds are basically there in the public accounts of India. Okay, then coming to the purpose or use, so government's all expenditures are being taken care of by the consolidated fund of India, that is government meets all its expenditure from this particular fund. In case of unforeseen emergency, we have this contingency fund of India. Then public accounts, here it is used for the public money outside the consolidated fund of India, whichever public money is there, whichever money which has been deposited by the public in with a trust to the government, let's say when we talk about the pension fund, etc., provident fund, etc., so that money is of the public and that will be given to public. Okay, now coming to the next one, withdrawal requirements. So when we talk about the consolidated fund of India, so you will require an appropriation bill, okay, from which you can appropriate money out of this particular fund. That bill will be passed in parliament, so that is parliamentary approval is required. Now when we talk about the contingency fund, in that case parliamentary approval is not required, because obviously parliament is not in session. If parliament was there, then they would have gone for the consolidated fund of India. Then moving further, when we talk about this particular public account, since it is a liability on the government, so there is no, you can say, approval required from the parliament. Okay, okay, fine. So yes, this class is every day. When we talk about the 5 days a week, so it will be starting from Monday and till Friday. We will be having this live lectures on at 10:30 in the morning. Okay, and the newspaper of Saturday and Sunday, that will be covered in the Monday's class. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now let's move further and let's start with our discussion of the day. Now Karnataka CM booked by ED in probe linked to Mysore land allotment. Okay. Now this, when we talk about the Muda scam or something, this Mysore land allotment case, over here what has happened is that there was this particular land which has been given in the form of compensation, but that was given way below the market value. Okay, the value of the land is too much, but since it was given as a form of the compensation, okay, so let's say that person who was involved, he has given a particular land to the, for any particular purpose, let's say of 1500 crore. Okay, and for the compensation, whatever land they have got in return, that is worth more than 3500 crore. So here you can see that there was some kind of collusion which has happened. Okay, so this is you can say this was just an example wherein you can say that this is similar case which has happened over here. Okay, and so there is this political involvement which is there. Okay, we will not go into that. Now when here we will be talking about certain aspects over here. ED investigation into Karnataka CM. Now since this particular case was related to CM, so for the prosecution, even this particular you can say High Court was also involved over here, and High Court has actually upheld that you can go for the prosecution of CM. Okay, now here you can see for the prosecution, the governor has actually initially has given his nod, and that case went to the High Court, and the you can say High Court has said that governor was right in doing so. Now background, if we see, the enforcement director has registered a money laundering case against Karnataka's chief minister Siddaramaiah in connection with the Muda scam. Okay, so that was the thing. If we talk about the legal implications, here the case is related to the PMLA, okay, Prevention of Money Laundering and Prevention of Corruption Act. Okay, the case is based on the FIR filed by the Karnataka Lokayut. So earlier governor has given the nod. Case went to the High Court. High Court said this is fine, you can go for the prosecution. Then it has gone to the Lokayut. We will be talking about why it is gone to Lokayut. Okay, and on the basis of the Lokayut's prima facie investigation, they have said that there should be a legal action which should be there. Okay, so legal implication, if we see, the case is based on the FIR filed by the Karnataka Lokayut, and the investigation could lead to property attachment and other coercive measures, okay, to recover the amount of money. So, or you can say till the time these proceedings are going, there can be property attachment, okay. So, the person cannot use the property, and other you can say coercive measure can be taken. The ED's investigation will focus on the flow of funds and whether any illegal activity were involved in Muda or not, okay. So, what ED is trying to do is they are trying to find out the money trail, okay. They will try to look at the how money has flown. Other than that, they will be seeing that whether any kind of illegal activity has happened in this particular case or not, okay. Now, moving further, here you can see High Court's decision. As I told you that the Karnataka High Court upheld the approval given by the governor to file a case against the CM, okay, that is under the section 17A of the Prevention of Corruption Act. Then impact on the investigation. So, this particular decision has paved way for the Lokayukt investigation, okay. Now, talking about the Lokayukt. Lokayukt is a body which is basically looking into the corruption related cases at the state level, okay. At the center we have this Lokpal, okay. So, in case of public officials, they will be looking into the matter. Now, FIR filed, which we have seen, the Karnataka Lokayukt police registered an FIR against Siddaramaiah, so that we have seen. Second, moving further, Lokayukt investigation. The Lokayukt is an anti-corruption ombudsman appointed by the state government, initiated an investigation into the allegation of corruption, okay. So, that is also clear. Allegation of illegal benefit. Now, what is the issue? They are saying that there are some kind of illegal benefit which has happened during the transfer of the lands over here, okay. The complaint alleges that the Siddaramaiah and his family has illegally benefited from the Muda case by acquiring land at below market prices and then selling it at a higher profit, okay. We are not talking about the selling it or not, but we are saying that they have actually taken a land way ahead of the market prices, okay. So, that is why this was there. Then PMLA case, if you talk about, the ED's investigation is based on the prevention of money laundering, PMLA, and the prevention of corruption, that is section 17, okay, on which this particular investigation will be working, okay. For us, what is important is that role of ombudsman, role of Lokayukt. So, for it is your homework that you will be going and looking at the Lokpal, provisions of Lokpal and Lokayukt, okay. So, that would be all from this particular article. Moving further, here we are talking about the Indian elephants over here. Indian elephants lost genetic vigor as they moved north to south. 5 distinct populations exist, that is what our study is saying. Now, there is this movement of elephants from north to south, this particular area of Himalayas, etc., and then the elephants are going towards the south. Now, this particular movement is not taking place like 3-4 years, okay. So, it is taking a lot of time, okay. Here you can see when we talk about the Indian elephants migrated from the north to south over many millennia and lost their genetic diversity progressively with each southward migration, okay. Why it is happening? Because when we talk about a particular population, let us say in the north there were, you can say, for example, 100 elephants were there in the north in this particular area, okay. Now, a small group of elephants has migrated towards south, okay. So, let us say 60 of them has migrated towards the central India, okay. Now, there are only 40 which are left over here, and out of these 60, they have nearly, you can say, 20 has migrated to the south. Now, we are having 40 over here, okay, 40, 40 and 20. Now, these 20 elephants, they are having this minimum population and they have to mate within themselves, okay. And since you know that they are closely related with each other, there are high chances that they will be losing the genetic biodiversity, okay. So, that is what is the concern right now, which has been put forward by the report, okay. Now, genome sequence from the captive and wild elephant has shown this particular study that they are losing the, you can say, genetic diversity, okay. They have identified 5 genetically distinct populations in India, okay. One along the Himalayan foothills, second is you can say northwest to northeast over here, one in the central India, and the third 3 of them are there in the south, okay. So, one is from the Himalayan foothills like this, okay. Then second is basically in the central India over here they are talking about, and then third is this one, okay. So, basically these are when we talk about South India, they have said that there are 3, one is over here when we talk about the Palghat gap, okay. So, from this area like in the plateau region till Palghat gap there is one you can say kind of population is there. Then within the Palghat and the Shenokota. Okay, so this Shenokota is another gap which is there. So between Palghat and Shenokota there is this another you can say species which are available, and below that there is this another one. Okay, so three of them are there in the South India, and when we talk about the two other, so one is there in Himalayan foothills and second is in the central India. Okay, so these are there: northern, central, north of Palghat, south of Palghat and south of Shenokota gap. Okay, so these are the 5 species which are there in India. Mostly if we talk about the elephant population in India, that is nearly around 29,000. Okay, that was the census which was there in 2017, of which when we talk about the Himalayan ones, we are having nearly you can say 12,000 elephants which are over here. Okay. Now when we talk about the central one here, we are saying that there are nearly 3,000 elephants which are over here, and when we look at the you can say south one, there are 3 different species amounting to 14,500 elephants. Okay, so South India has the maximum elephants, but since they are mating within themselves, there is this issue of genetic diversity getting lost. Okay, so this is about the map. Now we will be talking about the concerns over here. Implication, if we see reduced genetic diversity, the southern elephants population have less genetic variety than the other populations. Why? Because the number over there that is mating within themselves. Okay. Now when we look at this southern part, we have seen that there was one Palghat gap is there, and then another gap which is there which is mentioned over here. I guess the name is Sonekota. Okay, Shenkota, sorry. Okay, so this Senkota gap is there, and then we have Palghat gap. Since these gaps are there, so these you can say elephants are not able to move across these gaps, or you can say we can say that there is a fragmentation of habitat which is there, and because of which they are actually confined to a particular area and mating among themselves. Okay. This is likely because a small group of elephants migrated south over time, leading to increase in the inbreeding within those groups. Okay, so this issue of inbreeding is there, and because of which they are losing the genetic diversity. Okay. Now moving further, here you can say risk of inbreeding. Inbreeding can be harmful because it increases the chance of inheriting genetic problems. The southernmost population with fewer than 150 elephants is at higher risk of extinction due to these harmful genetic traits. Okay, so the southernmost one is the Shenkota gap, and the below one, so basically they are at the highest risk right now. Okay. Now what can be done? So you can go for the genetic toolkit. Okay, researchers aim to develop a genetic toolkit with DNA extracted from the elephants. Then moving further, region specific strategies should be you can say employed over here. Okay, the study emphasized that there is a need for the region specific conservation strategies, particularly for the southernmost population. Okay, so with the what kind of region they are living in, what kind of requirements are there with respect to that particular region, we should go for such conservation efforts. Okay, then avoiding the habitat fragmentation. Because of the habitat fragmentation, the movement is restricted. Here you can say recent infrastructure development has fragmented the elephant habitats, hindering the gene flow. Okay, so since the movement is restricted, and because of which they are going for the inbreeding. So this is the issue with respect to the elephants. You know that we have project elephants as well. Okay, so you can tell me in the comment box when this project elephant was started. Okay, similarly we have project tiger. Okay, so you can tell me when this was started. Okay, so that is for your homework, you can tell me in the comment box. Now moving further to the next article, that is talking about SEBI. You know that Security and Exchange Board of India, that is taking care of the capital and the money market basically. So here they have introduced a new asset class. Okay, liberalized mutual fund light framework. Okay, so they have actually introduced a new asset over here. So let's see. The Security and Exchange Board of India on Monday paved way for the introduction of a new asset class, which will add depth and variety to the investment landscape. Okay, so they will diversify the whatever investment you can say tools which we are having right now. When we talk about the mutual funds, we are talking about the equity, etc., and then when we talk about the small cap, large cap, etc. So similarly they have introduced one more over here. They will be introducing one more. Okay, here you can see, that is liberalized mutual fund light, MF light, which is there for passively managed schemes of mutual funds. Okay, passively managed mutual funds. Okay, Now we will be seeing what is passively managed mutual funds in the further slides. Right now just know that there is this one more asset which is coming in the market with respect to the passively managed, you can say, mutual funds. Okay. Now the board did not announce the tighter norms for the curbing the speculation trading in the futures and the options. Okay, in the FNO they did not go for tightening the norms, because there was this, when we talk about this option trading recently, the youth are getting involved in that. So we have expected that they will be coming up with the some kind of tighter norms for that, but that was not done over here. Okay. Now this new investment product aims to provide investors with a professionally managed and well regulated product that offers greater flexibility, high risk taking capabilities for high ticket size, while ensuring that the appropriate safeguard and the risk mitigation measures will be there in place. Okay, this is something which is, you can say, basic thing which they are discussing, that will be a safer asset. Okay, they are saying that there will be a risk taking capacity, they are saying that there will be a, you can say, private you can say appropriate safeguards as well as the risk mitigating measures which are available with the asset. Now when we talk about this particular you can say asset, there are one thing when we talk about AMCs, that is asset management companies which are there. So asset management companies are dealing with both kind of, okay, active mutual funds and the passively managed mutual funds. Okay, actively managed means that, okay, actively and passively. Now actively managed means that they will be creating a fund. Okay, so let's say they have taken, you can say, 10 companies. Okay, they have listed the 10 companies, they have chosen the 10 companies and they have created a fund. Okay, and they are managing it. Second thing is passively. Now they will not be selecting any kind of company, they will be, you can say, directly going for the index companies. Okay, when we talk about the Nifty, when we talk about Sensex, there are already indexed companies which are there. They will directly go and invest in that, and they will be monitoring those, you can say, patterns which are there in the Sensex and the Nifty. Okay, so basically they are not managing it, they are just, you know, investing the money in that. Okay, so that is why it is called passively managed, and this is actively managed because they have chosen the companies, they have created a fund for that. Okay, so this scheme is for the passively managed. Now if there is a AMC which is having both kind of mutual funds which are available to them, so they have to choose, they can choose to actually divide, they can you know, separate their active ones and the passive ones, or if they are going further with the same methodology, in that case for the passively managed assets they have to follow the norms which are given under this particular new assets. Okay, so that is there. Now coming to the next part, what will be the, you know, benefits over here? So streamline the market operations. For that, what we will do, ease of doing business. What will you do? Going for the settlement in the lesser time. So here you can see T+0 settlement. Expansion of the T+0 settlement cycle to top 500 companies by market capitalization, enabling faster trade execution and the reduced settlement time. Let's say you have actually applied for a particular mutual fund, you have, you know, sent the SIP. Now it will take a particular time, like 1 or 2 days of time, to reflect that inside your portfolio. Okay, so they are saying that they are going for the T+0 settlement, the time which is required genuinely, and +0 means that extra time won't be there. Okay, so that is T+0 settlement, that is, you can say, the you can say reflecting into the portfolio, that will be sooner this time. Okay, then rights issue processes. Now shorten the timeline for the rights issued, increasing the processing time from you can say decreasing the processing time, sorry, from 317 days to 23 working days. Okay, so that is another thing wherein also they are trying to, you can say, streamline the process wherein less time is being taken. Then moving further, UPI block mechanism, investors can now utilize the UPI block mechanism for the secondary market transactions, offering a convenient and the secure payment options. Okay, so they will be using UPI in the transactions. Okay, moving further, here we are talking about the passive mutual funds. Okay, passive mutual funds are the investment funds that seek to track performance of the specific market index. Now here we are saying that they are seeking, or they are looking at the performance of you can say already existing market index. Okay, what we have here is Sensex, we have Nifty. Okay, so these are the market index which are already available. So the management company will not go into creating a new list of the companies for the mutual funds, they will directly invest in the Sensex and the Nifty. Okay, such as Nifty and the Sensex. Now they aim to replicate the index performance by investing in the same securities in the same proportion, making them a low cost, less risky options for the investors seeking to participate in the market growth. Why it is a less risky endeavor? Because if there are 50 companies which are there in, let's say, Nifty, okay, all of them will not fall at the same time, okay, some of them will perform good, some of them will perform, you can say, average. So in that case the mutual fund will not be at a very high risk, okay. So that is there. Moving further, the key benefits over here: lower costs, because obviously you are not creating a fund, so you don't have to manage much, or so much resources are not being wasted over here. So here you can say passive funds typically have lower management fees compared to the actively managed funds, as they are not actively selected, they are not selecting the you can say stock by themselves, okay, or they are not selecting the companies, they are not making a fund over here, okay. Minimal trading, since it is a fund which is you can say directly linked with the index funds over here. So that is why there is this passive funds involve less frequent trading, as they are only adjusted holdings when the underlying index is changing, leading to a lower transaction cost, okay. Whenever there is a change in the, you can say, index only, then only you can say there is some kind of transaction which is happening. Anyways, stable performances, because as I told you that there are 50 companies, if you can say one or two of them are not performing good, others are performing average, so you can say there is this stable performance. So these are the three benefits of the passive mutual funds, okay. Now we are moving further with the next article, that is talking about the suicide pods, okay, or this is also called as the sarco pods, okay. Now I will be telling you the working over here. There was this lady, here you can say the death of 64 years old American woman in suicide capsule that was suspected, okay, but the, you can say, alarm bell has been rang in this particular area in Switzerland, okay. When we look at this particular capsule over here, in this particular picture you can see a person can sleep inside this module. Over there in the below we have this nitrogen tank which is there, okay. Now they will enter a particular key inside the, you can say, this particular chamber, and after that the nitrogen will start to, you can say, fill this particular chamber where this person is sleeping, okay. Initially what will happen is that you will start to lose the consciousness, and since slowly all the oxygen will you know, get out of that particular capsule and nitrogen will be there, and in that you will be dying because of the lack of the oxygen, okay, since you will be unconscious over there and you will be dying in this particular capsule, and that is why it is called as suicide pod, okay. I hope that is clear. Now there are certain terms which has been used in this particular article. One is assisted dying or assisted suicide, okay. Second term which is used over here is euthanasia. Euthanasia, we have already seen that there are two types, one is active and second is passive. Yesterday we have talked about this, I guess, okay. So when we talk about the assisted suicide, that means that a person is actually going for killing himself, okay, but there is no outside assistance which is there, okay, external assistance is not there, but he is killing himself, okay, over there, okay. When we talk about the euthanasia, or when we talk about the active and passive euthanasia, so we will be saying that here assisted killing is there, wherein a person or the medical officer is being prescribing a drug and they are administrating the drug, okay. So when we talk about the euthanasia, there will be a medical practitioner who will have a role, active role in that, okay. In this assisted suicide, he will not have such roles. Only role of a medical practitioner over here for the procurement of the lethal drug, okay. Now administration will be done by the person himself, okay. And if anyone is assisting this particular person, in that case also that particular person should not have any kind of motive, okay. So that is there. If we talk about the euthanasia, that is also kind of you can say killing, wherein you are going for the two methods. One is your active killing. Active euthanasia is basically saying that you are using any external agent like a lethal drug or something, and that drug is basically killing the person, okay, and here medical practitioner is involved. Then when we talk about the passive euthanasia, here also medical practitioners will be involved, but you are not administrating any kind of lethal drug or something, you are just withdrawing the life support, okay. Whatever support is there to the, you can say, terminally ill patient which is keeping him alive, and we know that there is very less chance for him to survive, in that case that life support will be withdrawn, that is called as the passive euthanasia. right now when we are talking about this particular thing, in Switzerland, passive euthanasia and the assisted killing or the suicide, that is allowed. Okay, this is not allowed. Active euthanasia is not allowed. Now the person who has created this particular machine, they are saying that that is part of assisted suicide, wherein the person is going inside the machine and he is putting the key and he is dying over there. Okay, so that is the, you can say, argument which has been put forward, but the people over there are saying that there are some legal loophole which has been exploited over here, that the, you can say, assisted when we are talking about this assisted dying, that is allowed in Switzerland, and because of which they have actually taken this interpretation that this tool is part of that. Okay, but if there is this tool, that means that this is kind of a euthanasia. Okay, anyways, so that is a debate which is there for the judiciary of that particular country to decide. Right now if we talk about here what is euthanasia, how it is different from the assisted dying, this we have already discussed. In that case of the, you can say, both are the ways in which person is ending their life. Euthanasia involves a physician administrating a lethal drug, that is a medical practitioner's role is there. Okay, assisted dying is something relies on the self administration of the lethal substance with a medical involvement of which is restricted only to the drugs procurement. Okay, so here medical practitioner will not be directly involved in killing you. Okay, so that is there. What is the psychopod, which we have already discussed? This is a 3D you can say printed machine which is there, wherein nitrogen gas will be used to kill a particular person. Okay, now because of the thing that we are having this euthanasia, passive euthanasia and the assisted dying which is allowed in Switzerland, Switzerland is considered as a destination for death tourism. Okay, so please remember this term, this is an interesting term that is there, death tourism. Okay, then moving further, what does the Swiss law says? As I told you, the active euthanasia is banned in Switzerland. Assisted dying and the assisted suicide are legal as long as the individual ends their life without any kind of external assistance. Okay, so assisted dying is allowed over here. Okay, now those who help them do not have any kind of self-serving motives, which we have already discussed. Okay, for that it is called as death tourism. Critics are saying that this is exploiting a legal loophole, does not completely does not comply with the existing product safety laws. When we are talking about this particular product, so this product is not complying with the product safety laws. So that is one thing. Other than that, also when we look at this particular functioning here, okay, so nitrogen is being used and this particular machine will be there to assist dying. So there are certain loopholes which has been exploited. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now who can use this particular machine? So before using this machine you have to fill a form. Okay, and when you fill a form, or you can say you are applying for it, then there will be a test. Okay, that you are mentally fit. Once you are mentally fit, then you will be given a key. That key can be used in this particular machine, and then only the nitrogen supply will start. Okay, so that is about the suicide pod. Now moving further to the next article, that is talking about the earth may survive the death of sun. Okay, we are saying that the solar system, when we talk about it is dependent on the sun for energy, etc. So that is right thing. Obviously when we look at the solar system, sun is at the center of that. Okay, and here is the energy which is being generated because of the hydrogen and helium which is present over here. Till we are having this fuel, hydrogen and helium, which is there and which is responsible for the nuclear fusion reaction which is happening on the, you can say, our star. Okay, so that is sun. Till we are having these reactions over there sorry till we are having these reactions, at that point of time you are seeing that we will be having this energy, and when we are having this energy, that means that we will be having insolation, and when we are having this insolation, then life is possible on earth. Okay, what will happen after the death of the star, that is death of the sun? Okay, it will become a dwarf planet, or it will become a dwarf star. Okay, so when it becomes a dwarf star or the energy is gone with the sun, so what will happen to the earth? Now earlier it was said that when this the process of death of the sun will start, so what will happen is that the size of the sun will be expanded. Okay, and in that particular size the earth will also, you can say, get engulfed into it. Okay, so it was said that earth will destroy like that, it will be part of the, you can say, that process of sun's death. Okay, but recently with this study it is said that there are chances that Earth will not go into it, but Earth will be there, okay, as a cold planet. Why as a cold planet? Because obviously the insolation has ended. When we talk about the sun will also be a white dwarf star. Okay, how it will happen? That first the size of the sun will expand. When the size will expand, all the atmosphere or all the spheres which are there, that will actually you can say faded away in the universe, and only the core of the sun will be there. Okay, the core of the sun will be there, or you can say that will be left. Okay, and that will become a white dwarf star. Okay, no energy, and because of which Earth will be a cooler, or you can say without a life, a planet will be there. Okay, why we are saying this? Because recently we have witnessed one planet outside our solar system which is actually still present in the vicinity of that's you can say star. There was this particular star which is there, and that star has become dwarf now, and there is this planet which is still there, okay, as a cold planet. So looking at that particular system, we can say that that might happen to Earth as well. Okay, so let's see the first rocky planet ever spotted orbiting a burned out white dwarf star. Okay, that is there glimpse of what may be seen in store for the Earth billion years from now, like after the death of the sun. That can be the fate for the Earth as well. Okay, now it shows that our planet may survive the death of the sun, albeit as a cold, desolated and the outpost in the space. Okay, now observed planet that is having a mass 1.9 times of the Earth is orbiting around a white dwarf 4200 light years away from the solar system. Okay, now why we are saying that we will be having same fate? Because the mass is nearly 2 times of the Earth. Other than that, when we look at the other specifics that are also kind of similar to the Earth, we are expecting that we are, you can say, seeing that there might be a chance that this particular planet holds life in some point of at some point of time. Okay, it has held life at some point of time, and that is why that can happen to Earth as well. Okay, the white dwarf began as an ordinary star 1 or 2 times the mass of the sun. Currently its mass is about half of the sun, because all the, you can say, layers has gone. Now only core is left, that is in the form of a white dwarf star. Okay, before it hosts a star's death, the planet possibly orbits its star in the habitable zone, not too hot, not too cold, where liquid water can exist, or there are chances that life might have been there as well. Okay, after that, today however, it is a freezing with its star all but burnt out. Okay, so the star is burned out, now it is freezing planet. The sun is destined to become a white dwarf someday, so we will be facing that fate. At the end of the sun's life, it will puff up the enormous size. As I told you, the size of the sun, that will actually increase, it will puff up, and astronomers call it a red giant. At that point of time, it will be called as a red giant. Now once this particular whole circle is gone, okay, in the atmosphere, or you can say it is faded away, then whatever left is there, that is called the white dwarf star. Okay, so that is there. As our sun loses mass, the planet's orbit will expand to larger size. Eventually the sun loses all of its outer layers and leaves behind a hot compact core, that is called a white dwarf. Okay, whether Earth will be engulfed by the sun during its red giant phase or not. Now earlier it was believed that when sun's size will expand, okay, so Earth will be engulfed into it. Okay, but there are now chances that that might not be there. We will be having the fate of this particular star, which we have seen 4200 light years from our solar system. Okay, now moving to the next part, that is talking about, as Lebanon invasion looms, Netanyahu to Iran, no part of region out of Israel's reach. Okay, so there are that is some kind of a, you can say, indication which has been given by the Israel to Iran. The Israeli you can say Prime Minister has addressed Iranian people, saying that the Israel will do anything to protect their interest. Okay, so that is what has been discussed in this article. Nothing much is there. You know that we have discussed in yesterday's in news that there was this person who was the head of Hezbollah has actually been assassinated. Okay, and now the leadership is feeling some kind of vacuum over there. So the fate of this Hezbollah is not yet decided. It will be dependent on Iran for a lot of things. So that all things are there in this particular region of, you can say, Middle East. There are high chances that these might escalate to a war as well. Okay, anyways, moving further to the next part, astronauts welcome SpaceX capsule that will bring them home. Okay, so there was this you can say earlier a project, or you can say a space endeavor was there, in which you can say there were two astronauts which are there, that is I guess yes, that Butch Wilmore and the Sunita Williams, which was there. Okay, so they got stuck over there because of some kind of you can say malfunctioning in the you can say rocket which was supposed to bring them back. Okay, there was this helium leak, okay, because of which they are stuck over there. Now there was this another you can say spacecraft which has gone to the space, that is basically having this capsule, the name is Dragon. Okay, so that is basically going over there. It will stay there for like you know, some few months. It will be returning back in February. So those two astronauts will be coming with this particular, you can say, spacecraft. Okay, so that is there. Now moving further to the next one, that is terror has no place, India for early return of peace, Modi tells Netanyahu. So basically we have given this message that terror anywhere has no place. Okay, that is one thing, but we are still, you can say, vouching for the, you know, earliest peace which is possible in this particular region. Okay, then moving further, when we talk about the, you know, the cinema or the film industry, there is this award, that is Dada Saheb Phalke Award. Okay, so that is India's highest award in cinema which is there, and which will be given to Mithun Chakrabarti. Okay, so that has been announced recently. So please remember this name if you are you know, giving any kind of PCS examination, that becomes important for you. For your own read, there is this article, that is export ban on non-basmati white rice lifted. Why, what, and what are the likely impacts, which is given over here. There is too much of data, just don't go through or don't remember all this data and all, just go through the pattern. Okay, so that is about today's discussion. Now we will be ending a session with the practice question, that is who audits the expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India, Finance Ministry, CAG, Reserve Bank of India, and Prime Minister's Office. Okay, so these are the options. So you have to attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you.